You pull a DiGiorno from one shelf and Tombstone from another. Different box, different mascot, different price. But did you know they are the same company? Same ingredients, same two factories, just a different sticker price, depending on which mascot you trust more. Frozen pizza is a $7 billion industry in the U.S., and it keeps growing every year. Prices have climbed right along with it. A box that ran you $4 a few years ago is closer to $7 today. What hasn't climbed is the quality of what's in the box. The crust, the cheese, the sauce, largely the same formulas and cost-cutting, just wrapped in a higher number at checkout. We've uncovered 5 hidden truths about frozen pizza. Every one of them is technically true and still not the full story. Nothing on these boxes has to lie to you. It just has to stop talking before it gets to the part that matters. Subscribe and let's crack some crust. DiGiorno leans on "it's not delivery." Tombstone runs on cowboy nostalgia and a small Wisconsin town. California Pizza Kitchen borrows the name of an actual sit-down restaurant chain. Jack's just sits there being the cheap, no-frills option. 4 completely different personalities, competing for the same 6 feet of freezer case. In 2010, Kraft sold its entire US and Canada frozen pizza business, DiGiorno, Tombstone, and the California Pizza Kitchen license, to Nestle for $3.7 billion in cash. Jack's belongs to Schwan's, now majority owned by a South Korean company called CJ Cheiljedang. 2 corporate owners, 4 different brands. It's not just paperwork either. Most of it comes out of the same buildings. Schwan's runs the bulk of its pizza production through 2 plants in Wisconsin, Little Chute and Medford. And the employees at Little Chute are making DiGiorno, California Pizza Kitchen, Tombstone, and Jack's on the same lines, in the same shifts. 4 names, 2 zip codes. So grabbing Tombstone over DiGiorno because it feels more working class, or CPK because it feels a step above. That's not rewarding a smaller company for doing better. That's moving money from one pocket to the other of the same jacket. It doesn't mean you have to stop buying what you like. If DiGiorno's crust genuinely works better for you, or Tombstone's sauce tastes closer to something your mom made, now that preference is real. Taste doesn't care who owns the plant. Just know you're not switching companies. You're switching costumes. Pizza tip number 1, the ownership check. Before you compare 2 boxes in that freezer case, search the brand name plus parent company. If the answer's the same for both, you're not comparison shopping. You're picking a mascot. Coming up, the cheese pulling off your pizza right now may not be legally allowed to be called cheese. Totino's Party Pizza is $1.50 and sits near the bottom of the freezer shelf. The box shows a golden, stretchy cheese pull that looks exactly like a real pizzeria slice. But if you flip the box over, you'll see modified food starch or cellulose in that ingredient list. That's your answer. What's melting on your pizza isn't fully cheese. It's dairy stretched out with vegetable oil, emulsifiers, and anti-caking agents, built to look like mozzarella at a fraction of the cost. The photo on the front was shot by a professional with a blowtorch and a pair of tweezers. The ingredient list on the back has to legally tell the truth in order by weight. One side of the box is selling a feeling. The other side is just doing its job. If it's a busy weekday and the kids are already hungry, and Totino's is what's in the freezer, that's a fine call for one dinner. Just don't confuse the cheese pull in the photo with the cheese blend actually in your hand. Pizza. Tip number 2, the cheese pull test. Pull a slice straight up after it comes out of the oven. Real mozzarella stretches long and thin before it finally breaks. A processed blend tears short or slides off in one greasy sheet. That stretch is real dairy protein reacting to heat. A starch and oil blend can't fake it, no matter how good the box looks. Coming up, the label trick that runs the same play twice and gets you both times. DiGiorno put out a sodium reduction announcement a while back. The kind of press release that reads like a company genuinely cleaning up its act. The sodium number really did go down. That part's true. What the headline skips is that the sugar content in the sauce didn't move, nor did the mechanically separated meat in the toppings. The preservative load keeping the thing shelf-stable for months didn't move either. One number dropped, and everything that doesn't make a good headline stayed exactly where it was. What about the sugar number on that same box? 5 grams per serving. It's less sugar than what's in your coffee. Feels like nothing until you check the serving size sitting right above it. One serving is 1/6 of the pie. Nobody has ever eaten 1/6 of a pizza and stopped. Eat the amount of pizza you're actually going to eat, and that 5 grams turns into something closer to 30 grams of sugar, or about a full can of soda, hidden inside a meal you'd never think to call dessert. Nobody lied on that box. The sodium number is real. The sugar number is real. That's exactly what makes this one work. A technically true number placed next to a serving size nobody follows. Doing the marketing work, the ingredients can't. It's the same move, run twice on the same package, and it gets you both times because you're only ever checking one number at a time. If you're actually watching your sodium, take the win on that front. It's a real number, and it's genuinely lower. Just don't let it stop you from reading the rest of the panel. Pizza. Tip number 3, the whole label. Whole pizza, check. Check the other 3 numbers: sugar, saturated fat, and sodium, before you believe any single healthier claim on the front. Then check the serving size. Multiply every number by how much you're actually going to eat. Coming up, the recall that hit 3 major grocery chains this year, and the ingredient nobody was watching. Mama Kazi's Great Value. Motor City Pizza Company. 3 names that don't sound related at all. One's an Aldi label, one's a Walmart label, and the other a regional maker selling cheese bread and pizza through grocery chains. Earlier this year, all 3 got swept into the same recall. The cause wasn't the crust, the cheese, or the sauce. It traced back to contaminated dry milk powder, a single ingredient supplied into multiple products across multiple brands at once. The USDA and FDA issued public health alerts telling people not to eat the affected pizzas, to check their freezers, and throw them out or bring them back to the store. The products had already reached Walmart, Aldi, Costco, and Target shelves before anyone caught it. Oh, did anyone catch that there is dried milk powder in your pizza? Not exactly the fresh mozzarella shot glowing on the front of the box. It's a shelf-stable powder, reconstituted somewhere down the supply chain, doing a job actual dairy used to do. And most people buying that pizza have no idea it's in there at all until it ends up in a federal recall notice. Nobody markets now with dehydrated milk solids. It just quietly shows up on page 4 of the ingredient list, right up until the moment it's the reason the product gets pulled off shelves. What should bother you is you'd assume a recall that's serious gets national headlines. It got local news coverage for about a week, and then it was gone. No lasting boycott, no brand reckoning, nothing that changed how you shop that aisle. A supply chain problem that reached 3 major retailers at once came and went quieter than a lot of the marketing noise on the box next to it. 1 ingredient, 3 brands, 1 supplier problem, and it was buried under 3 different labels that made it look like 3 separate companies had 3 separate issues, when it was actually 1 weak link feeding all of them at the same time. Pizza tip number 4, the recall check. Before you buy any frozen pizza, especially a store brand, run the name through foodsafety.gov's recall search. Store brands share suppliers more than the packaging ever admits. A recall on 1 label can quietly apply to a box sitting 3 shelves away with a completely different name on it. Coming up, the ingredient names everyone panics about online, and the 2 that are actually worth panicking about. Scroll the ingredient list on Gino's, Freschetta, or any bargain bin frozen pizza, and you'll hit names that sound like they belong in a lab. Cellulose, azotocarbonamide, BHA, or a few dough conditioners you can't pronounce on the first try. The internet and many competing food channels flatten all of that into 1 scary bucket called chemicals. It's not 1 bucket. Cellulose gets dragged online constantly as some kind of toxic filler, and the viral version doesn't hold up. Europe's Food Safety Authority looked at cellulose-based additives and found no evidence of toxicity, cancer risk, or developmental harm, even at doses far higher than what's in your pizza. Dough conditioners land in roughly the same place. Unnecessary? Sure, but not dangerous. Azotocarbonamide and BHA are a different conversation. As of August 2025, the FDA added azotocarbonamide to its list of chemicals under active post-market review and recommended BHA get reassessed too. That's not internet noise. That's a real ongoing regulatory process on ingredients that show up across this entire price tier of the freezer case, not just 1 or 2 boxes. Pizza. Tip number 5, the 2-name check. Stop panicking over every unpronounceable word on that list. Just check for 2 names, azotocarbonamide and BHA. those are the ones under real FDA scrutiny right now. Everything else scary sounding is very likely just annoying, not dangerous. Now, the real frozen pizza picks. Subscribe as we get into 6 pizzas where the box isn't hiding anything from you and where somebody actually stood behind the recipe long enough to be proud of it. Home Run Inn didn't start as a pizza company at all. It started as a tavern on the south side of Chicago in 1947, run by Vincent and Nancy Grittani, and the pizza was something the bar served its regulars almost as an afterthought. The story goes that a patron hit a home run over the tavern's fence during a neighborhood softball game, and the name stuck. What also stuck was the pizza, because the family never stopped making it themselves. 4 generations later, the Grittani family still owns Home Run Inn, and the dough is still made from a short, honest ingredient list of water, wheat flour, corn oil, yeast, and salt. Nothing engineered for a 2-year shelf life, just flour and time. Home Run Inn is a tavern-style thin-crust pizza, and it's polarizing. One blind panel of 9 frozen pepperoni pizzas put it dead last on texture alone, calling the crust too crumbly and too dense, even while the same panel praised the ingredient sourcing without hesitation. So this isn't the pick for someone who wants a thick, doughy, cheese pull spectacle. It's the pick for someone who grew up on Chicago tavern-style pizza, cut into squares, thin, a little cracker-like, and entirely honest about what it is. Buy it knowing this, and you'll probably love it. Buy it expecting DiGiorno, and you'll be disappointed for reasons that have nothing to do with quality. Rouse started as a single restaurant on 114th Street in East Harlem back in 1896, and for over a century, it built a reputation as one of the hardest tables in New York City to book. That's the story the frozen version is trading on, and to Rouse's credit, the sauce recipe genuinely does come from that restaurant. It's made with San Marzano tomatoes, the same base that sells in a jar for $8 on its own. And the frozen pizza line uses fresh mozzarella instead of a processed blend, along with pepperoni that skips added nitrates. Rouse parent company Sovos Brands was acquired by Campbell's in 2024, which means the small Italian family restaurant positioning now sits on top of the same packaged goods conglomerate structure as almost everything else in this freezer case. And at $9 to $11 a box, taste testers call it solid, well-made frozen pizza, but didn't wow anyone. Nobody's calling it bad. Nobody's calling it a top pick either. If you want genuinely good ingredients and you're willing to pay a premium for the San Marzano sauce specifically, it's a fair trade. Just don't pay that premium expecting a taste experience that matches the 130-year restaurant story on the box. Amy's Kitchen was started in 1987 by Andy and Rachel Berliner in Petaluma, California, and they named the company after their newborn daughter, Amy, because they'd just become parents and couldn't find organic vegetarian food they trusted enough to eat themselves, let alone feed a baby. Decades later, the company is still family-owned, and that origin story shows up in the actual ingredient list, not just the branding. The crust is made from organic flour and hand-stretched, which means it comes out slightly irregular, with the kind of uneven air bubbles a machine can't replicate. It actually tastes like bread instead of a flavorless vehicle for toppings. The sauce is organic tomatoes, herbs, and spices with no artificial flavors and no high-fructose corn syrup hiding in the ingredient list. The mozzarella is organic as well, and it melts with a clean, fresh dairy taste that you can actually identify as cheese rather than a cheese-adjacent blend. Yes, organic ingredients and small batch preparation cost more, but this is one of the rare cases where the price tag and the ingredient panel actually agree with each other. You're not paying a premium for a name, you're paying for what's genuinely in the box. Trader Joe's built its entire identity on private label secrecy. You almost never know who's actually manufacturing what's on their shelves, and the company has no interest in telling you. What you can know is what's printed on the box itself, and the Margarita's ingredient list is about as short as frozen pizza gets. Wheat flour, tomato puree, mozzarella cheese, topped with basil. It's meant as a clean, honest base, something you're expected to doctor yourself with your own olive oil, extra cheese, and toppings if you want more than what's already there. If you're the kind of shopper who wants to read 4 ingredients and understand all 4 of them without a chemistry background, this is exactly that. Screamin' Sicilian is a Wisconsin family-owned operation, and Bessie's Revenge is the pizza that put them on the map, named, as the brand tells it, after a dairy cow. The mozzarella is real and it's locally sourced and not trucked in from 3 states away in a sealed industrial bag. The pepperoni has actual spice to it and the crust is made with real butter, hand-rolled before it goes into a stone-fired oven, and it comes out with 0 trans fats, a genuinely rare claim in this category. This is still a corporate-scale operation shipping to grocery stores nationwide, but dollar for dollar, ingredient for ingredient, it's the best ratio of quality to price in the entire mass-market frozen aisle. You're not settling for this one. You're getting genuinely lucky that it's sitting at a regular grocery price point instead of a specialty one. Costco's entire private label philosophy is built on one rule. Kirkland's signature products aren't allowed to be marked up the way a national brand would be, and the company has said publicly for years that it caps its own markup far below what a typical grocery brand charges. That philosophy shows up directly in this pizza at roughly $3.50 a pie. The mozzarella is real, applied generously and evenly across the whole surface. It melts the way cheese is supposed to melt, creating that long, stretchy pull that tells you there's actual dairy protein doing the work. The sauce is balanced with real acidity and herb flavor. The crust bakes to a genuine golden brown, crispy on the bottom, tender inside with a flavor of its own, instead of functioning as blank cardboard underneath the toppings. For under $15, a family can eat a large, genuinely good pizza. This is the most findable, affordable, and easiest buy it tonight pick on this entire list, and it holds up against pizzas costing 3 times as much. If you only take one thing from this whole video and go buy exactly one pizza tonight, make it this one. 5 things about frozen pizza, and not one of them required a company to actually lie to you. Nothing on these frozen pizza boxes had to lie. It just had to stop talking before the part that mattered. But the 6 brands we just went through proved the opposite is possible too. A tavern in Chicago, a restaurant in East Harlem, a family in Petaluma, a short ingredient list at Trader Joe's, a dairy cow's namesake in Wisconsin, and a warehouse club that simply refuses to mark things up. Somewhere on that list is a pizza that actually earns the box it's sitting in. Next time you're in that aisle, check who owns the box. Check the whole label and the real serving size. Run the name through a recall search and see if the ingredient list matches the photo on the front. That's it. Comment cracked if you made it to the end. Subscribe and hype us on mobile. Thanks for watching.